The Sasa Ladies Purse is our feature race on Sunday, race number 7. Before that, though, if you want another angle, head to the website, hkjc.com, and on horse racing, TV programme replay, you'll find HK Direct, where Ed Sadler and Brett Davis take a look at this week's feature race. Each and every week, Ed, or sometimes me, or sometimes John as well, here with Graham Cunningham. Feature stories, the one with Felix Kutz here was a particularly good one, looking back on the silent witness years. That's available Friday night, generally from 6 o'clock Hong Kong time. All right, let's get into the runners and riders for the ladies' purse. Really good lineup here. Group 3 over the 1,800 metres is a handicap, though. Circuit Land, first time we've seen him since his trip to Korea. Alexi Bedell in the saddle. Horse of Fortune, last year's winner. Eagle Way is one of 4 in the race for John Moore. Tony Cruz has 5, including favourite Time Warp. Helene Charisma, reunited with Zach Purton. Doyenne, run up behind Gold Mount last time out. Rocketeer, well, all the way down from Rocketeer in actual fact. General Sherman, Keen Venture, Consort and NASA, they're all out of the handicap. NASA by £12, taking into Chad Scotofield's probable overweight there, John. This is how the speed map looks to play out, though, with Time Warp perfectly drawn to get out in front and dictate. Yeah, he's been a regular leader since he's come here to Hong Kong, and he got that lovely sequence of wins together. Doyenne from Wide Gate, he's going to have to track across quite quickly. This fella's interesting. Horse of Fortune won the race last year. He's got Gate 8. What's he going to do? Is he going to come forward and maybe put a bit of pressure on Time Warp, and that just could make that map a little bit quicker? And also Marvel Hero is going to be posted out wide. Maybe he might want to come forward as well, because he wouldn't want to be 3 wide into the turn. So there's an interesting debate about whether Time Warp will get taken on in front. Yeah, OK, but he should be able to find the front, if nothing else, Paul. He's looked pretty good in the mornings. What else has been catching your eye?
The first one, I'll tell you one horse that has caught the eye is Eagle Way. You can see him with Beauty Prince. He picks him up and puts him down quite nicely here with Tommy Berry aboard. He's definitely come on a lot, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a good run from him, and up to 1,800 metres is more his distance. Here was a second gallop as well, again with Tommy on. This was back on the 2nd of November, so not long ago, and he's moving very well. He's definitely come on leaps and bounds since his debut run here in this season. Now, Rocketeer was the one we're going to look at, but we got another gallop from Eagle Way as well, so you can see I quite like him.
I'm guessing he's in your numbers.
He's in his second, yeah. And Rocketeer's going... He's going nicely on the inside as well. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure if Rocketeer's quite there yet. Karis Teaton aboard for this piece of work down the back straight as well. He wasn't asked to do too much. He did finish off the gallop strongly enough, but I just wonder about him really being wound up for this particular contest.
Yes, the Derby match. John Moore's talked about how he's going to get there, hasn't he? So it might be a slightly different route for Rocketeer this year. Yeah, and I think he's definitely got to be respected now up to 1,800, but I still think his best will be reserved for when he goes even further. All right, OK. Well, let's get into some of the key races. Also, we're going to start with a number, in actual fact, coming out of this race, but Doyenne fares best, finishing second here to Gold Mount. The other horses we've got to take note of, though, Marvel Hero, out wide in the familiar colours. Helene Charisma, I don't know what we do with him. So much ability, it's just whether he can put it all together. And General Sherman out the back. Yeah, well, Doyenne, I thought, ran a very good race here because he was drawn wide. He had to work hard to get into a good position, and he stuck on really well. And he was only beaten probably by quite a progressive horse in the shape of Gold Mount. So I think he has to be considered over a trip that he's run well at in the past. General Sherman's probably not quite up to this class. The same comments probably apply to Marvel Hero. Helene Charisma definitely is up to this class if he puts it in. But I think he's going to struggle here, given that he probably wants a little bit further, and he's got one or two issues in the mind at the moment, I think.
Yeah, that was Class 2, so they're stepping up to Group Company now. That was the question mark I had. There are some seasoned group horses that they're running against now.
Very quick time, though. That was second inside. Yeah. They actually flew, but there's no Gold Mount coming in here, but he's obviously won for the future. Next race we can have a look at, Keen Venture. He's a big closer, isn't he? It doesn't really matter where he's drawn. He gets back, hopes to come out wide and flash home, and he has done it on a couple of occasions. Lots of ability. Rocketeer wants more. We can have a look at him. And the other horse in here as well I'm particularly interested in is Consort.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to go with Keen Venture in this race. I think he's got a very good chance, simply because he's still relatively unexposed here in Hong Kong. He's yet to race at 1,800 metres either here or in Australia before he came here, but he's bred to really like it. I thought he hit the line really well here. If they do go a reasonable pace up front, I think he'll be staying on. And if you look back to last season as well, he ran a very good race, albeit off a lightweight behind Booming Delight, and that form has been quite nicely franked. He is out of the handicap here, but I think one or two of the lightweights may have a say, and he could be one of them.
Yeah, look, he sort of gawked around and got beaten, didn't he, in that particular contest. he does come in with the lightweight.
They're 4, 8 and 10 pounds out of the handicap. Consort gets the blinkers back on. So I think even that lightweight, Alvin Ong in the saddle as well. He's an interesting contender too. Circuitland, the trip to Korea didn't really pan out, did it, as what they were expecting? But what's he shown us so far?
Well, he's had a couple of gallops since, and they've been okay. The problem with Circuitland is he's only a little horse and he's got to carry 133 pounds. So he's got to carry this big top weight in particular, and he has had that sort of overseas experience trip away as well. So he's got to overcome those two. You can see he was just pushed out a little bit here as well. So I'm happy to let him go in this contest and see what he can do.
He ran some good races, or in good races last year. He was third in the Chairman's Trophy, fourth in the Champions Mile, third in the Lion Rock Trophy off a big weight. He's not a big horse, but he always carries the weight well. Gate 12's not ideal, but he's overcome bad gates in the past. Haven't got him in the numbers, but I wouldn't totally put you off him.
All right, OK. Top weight, 133 and a wide gate. Lexi Bedell in the saddle. We've covered most of them, except for the favourites, and that is Time Warp. He'll be ridden by Joe Moreira.
Time Warp, Joe, you've ridden him in a barrier trial. What were your thoughts on that trial?
The trial itself was fantastic. I just done what Tony Cruz asked me to do, just let him run forward, and he attacked the line nicely underneath. So I was delighted with his trials, and based on his form, you would think that carrying the middle of the handicap, obviously it's a handicap race, usually the bottom weight horses has the advantage, but in the middle I still see him as a winning chance. And he's got a good gait. Hopefully he can deliver the best of himself on doing so. I believe he's a winning chance.
He won his last 3 in a row last season. Is he a horse that you've been keeping an eye on, wanting to jump on board?
No doubts about that. In particular, when he broke the Happy Valley's record, I was very impressed the way how he won, and obviously he would be one of those horses that would be having on the list for this coming season, I mean. So I'm happy to have him.
I think the 1400 was a little bit short for him last time. Still a super effort behind Beauty Generation, who's come on and franked the form once more.
Absolutely, yeah. And those 3 wins last year were very impressive. So I think there's a lot to like about Time Warp. I'm not entirely keen on the price, but as we illustrated beforehand, he should get his ideal run in the race as well. So he's going to be there or thereabouts. Yeah,
the key is, I think, with this is Tony Cruz has got 5 runners in the race. Now, the other 4 are, or 3 of them at least, not General Sherman, are front-running profiled horses. They're not going to take on Time Warp. Joe Moreira's on Time Warp, so you think he'd be on probably the best one of the lot. He's going to get the lead. The other horses will be just in behind him, and he can kick on the turn and be very tough to beat in the C+3 course. So I can understand why he's come up reasonably short. I think he'd be tough to beat.
Yeah, I feel a little bit sorry for Alvin Ong because he's done nothing wrong. Actually done very well, but he's picked up a nice riding Consort as a consolation. But Time Warp, he just wins, doesn't he?
Well, look, I think he's going to have all the favours. So I've got him on top, no question. He'll be there. Catch me if you can. He'll be in front, I think, with 100 to go, and he'd be very tough to beat. Eagle Way will be the one coming at him late. The third one I like is Horse of Fortune. Last year's winner. He's done nothing wrong. Now, historically, low-weighted horses have won this race, and I'm going for 4, 3 and 2 up the top of the handicap. But Nasser, he's well out of the handicap, as you mentioned, Andrew. He's like 12 pounds out, but he hasn't lived up to the potential of the group form he showed in South Africa. So I think he can go up the handicap. So of those lower ones, I think he's probably the better chance. So I went 4, 3, 2 and 14, but I'd be playing exotics with Time Warp coming up as a $2 chance.
Yeah, Time Warp's got to go in, but he's not going to go on top for me. I'm going to try and play this a little bit wide, talking about those lower-weighted runners that Paul was mentioning. I think Keen Venture up to 1800 for the first time. I think he's got every chance of really thriving at the trip. And if they go too quickly out in front, there is too much pace. I think he can definitely be ticking them off in the finish. Time Warp's clearly a very progressive horse, as is Eagle Way. As Paul said, he's shown some versatility here in Hong Kong as well. And Doyeni, I think, is worthy of consideration too. And I wouldn't put you off last year's winner at all, Horse of Fortune. I think he'll go nicely.
All right, there you go. Time Warp for me, I think it'd be very, very hard to beat indeed. That was the feature race. Still plenty more good ones to come, though. 8 and 9, they're up next.